Hello everybody, I'm Rebecca here at Y Mermaids, and today is my May wrap-up. I can't believe May is already over. Like, that's insane. This year has gone by so fast. My first ever video, like a traditional vloggy type booktube video, was January 1st, and now it is May 31st when I'm filming this. June 1st for you to watch it. That is insane. I've been doing this for just that short amount of time. It's gone by so fast. Thank you for everybody who's kind of been there with me and those of you who just joined in. And yeah, I guess we'll just get into what I read this month. I read a total of 7 things this month. I read 5 traditional books, 1 very short nonfiction book, and then a graphic novel. My first ever graphic novel, so stay tuned for that. So, let's get into it. The first book I read as part of my teacher book club that I'm part of, because I'm cool like that. There's only like 5 of us, but it's really awesome. And it was my pick. We had a 2-month hiatus, and I kind of brought it back and said, hey, let's read A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. So we did, and I loved it. I have a full review of it. I'll post it right here on a card over there, and you can go watch to see my full thoughts on this. But I did give it 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads out of pure love, because I loved it so much. So yeah, if you want to hear my full thoughts on that, go check out that review. The next book I read as a buddy read with Kayla Rain. You should go check out her channel if you haven't done so already. It's down in the description below. She's really awesome. But we decided to buddy read this together because everybody was like, you have to read this book. It is amazing. It's the best book ever. Blah, 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 blah. So we said, hey, you haven't read it. I haven't read it. Let's read it together. So we did, and that's Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Again, I have a full review of this one posted on my channel. I'll card it here. You can see it. If you want to know my full thoughts, I did give it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Though in retrospect, it's probably more of a 3.5, but I don't really do half stars. I like to round up, so that's how we got a 4. I didn't love it as much as everybody else thought, but I did enjoy it on a whole. So again, full thoughts here. The next book I picked up this month was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. This is the first book in that 5-book trilogy. That's right. And again, it's one of those like classic sci-fi novels that I feel like everybody's read except for me, so I decided to go ahead and pick it up. I enjoyed it, but I ended up only giving it 3 out of 5 stars. I found it kind of tedious at times to read and just kind of didn't really love it as much as everybody else. I think if I had listened to the audiobook, because it was narrated by Stephen Fry, I might have enjoyed it better. So for the following books in the series, I am going to listen to those audiobooks, which are narrated by Martin Freeman, who plays Bilbo and who plays the main character in the movie as well. So I decided I'm gonna do the audiobooks for the rest of them. So I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. As some of you who've been watching my channel know, I have never read The Mortal Instruments, so I decided to participate in the Mortal Read-Along group on Goodreads, we're reading The Mortal Instruments, all the way through, 1 book a month. So this month I did read City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. This is the 3rd book in the Mortal Instruments. And I liked it, I guess, it was better than the first one. It was about on par with the second. I gave it about 3.5 stars. Again, half stars are weird to me, so it didn't really feel like it needed a 4, but it wasn't really a 3, so that's why I went 3.5. The whole thing, I don't know, I liked that it was Final Battle-y. That's how it felt, it was the original end to the series, and you can tell that, and so I liked how everything kind of closed out at the end. I don't really know where it's gonna go from here, so I enjoyed it. I'm not loving this series. It's kind of a 3.5 for me overall anyway, so it's not, I'm not, blown away by this series, but I'm enjoying it enough, I guess. I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna stop with the Mortal Read-Along, and I'm gonna jump over and do the Infernal Devices next, and then come back and finish it. So I'm going to be leaving that Mortal Read-Along 1 book a month, just because I do want to read the Infernal Devices, because I heard that they kind of spoil things if you don't read them first. So I'm gonna read them first. So I will finish out the series because I do want to know what happens, and I promised that I would finish it out, so I will. It's just gonna take me a little bit longer to do it. Speaking of reading challenges and read-alongs, if you have been following, you know that I'm doing a year of gaming, where basically I'm reading one Neil Gaiman novel a month from the entire year, except for July, because July is my Harry Potter reread, so if you want to do that with me, feel free. But anyway, so this last month of April was Interworld, which is the first book in the Interworld trilogy, and so this month was The Silver Dream, which is the second book in the Interworld trilogy. Now I found this out after I'd already read it, or as I was reading it. It says Neil Gaiman right here. Yes. But up top, can you see it? It says story by Neil Gaiman. And at the bottom in teeny tiny font, you can see that it wasn't actually written by Neil Gaiman, which kind of bummed me out a little bit because it's a Neil Gaiman read-along or readathon or year of Gaiman, and it's not actually Neil Gaiman, but it is his idea and it is his story. So yeah, it was okay. I gave it 3 stars, which is I think what I gave the first book too. I'm not loving the series. It's enjoyable in a way. It's very short. It took me 2 days to read it. It probably would have taken me less if I'd been really hooked. I like that there's like time travel and space-time and blah, different worlds you can travel to or they can travel to, but the science part of it is a little bit over my head at times. So, and in comparison to the first one, it is easier to read because there is not as much science-y in it, but you're missing the Gaiman. So, meh. If you know me, you know I love Harry Potter, which means I read everything by J.K. Rowling except for The Casual Vacancy, which I haven't finished yet. So I picked up last month Very Good Lives by J.K. Rowling, which is her commencement speech that she gave to Harvard in 2008, which is coincidentally the year I graduated from college, just not from Harvard because I'm not that smart. So I never read this. I'd never actually seen her speech either. I don't think I'd listened to it. It's on YouTube. You can watch it if you want. I'll put a link. It's a good speech. It's a really good speech. So I decided to pick this up. I would have picked it up anyway. I read it. It took me, 15 minutes to read it or so. It's beautiful. This is so good and so inspiring, and if you are graduating from college this year, like, congratulations, first of all, for graduating from college. Now go pick up this book and read it, because it really is what you need to know when you're embarking upon your adult life. It talks about failure and how failure is not something to be scared of, but it's something that can influence you to be the best person that you actually are. And then it talks about imagination and how imagination leads to empathy, and how if you don't empathize with people, you can become the monsters that you're trying to fight. It's really beautiful and really powerful, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And finally, the last thing I read this month was Rat Queens Volume 1, which is Sass and Sorcery. And this is by Curtis J. Weeb and Rock Upchurch. This is my first ever graphic novel, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was really fun. I'm not like in love with the idea of graphic novels because I don't know. It's a little weird to me to read them. I don't know why. It just is. But I did enjoy it. I would probably pick up the second book, which I think just came out anyway. In this series, it's 4 female characters who are some BAs, and they are part of this adventuring group, and there's like this whole drama in their town and everything. It's a lot gorier than I thought it was going to be, but it's also really cool. Like, the 4 women have very different body types. They're not like the super teeny tiny thing that you see on Photoshopped magazine ads all the time. They're not like celebrities. They're real, and I really liked that. And they all have different personalities and different backstories that make them very unique. And so I did really love the fact that it's a graphic novel centered around strong female characters. I love that. So that's why I decided to pick this one up, and that's probably why I will continue to read it, even though graphic novels to me are not usually like something that I think about a lot. But I think I'm gonna continue on with this, and if you know of any other really good graphic novels, please let me know. I've heard of like Sex Criminals, and I've heard of Miss Marvel. And I do have the Fade Out on my computer that I need to read, but if you have any other ones that you recommend that are a little bit more kind of adult, I guess, or have really strong female characters, let me know in the comments. And I did give this 4 out of 5 stars. But again, since it's my first graphic novel, like, I don't really know how to compare it. But I did like the story, so I gave it 4. Well, that is it for me and what I read in May. June is here. It is here. I am done with school in 2 weeks. So summer is coming. Summer is coming! Which means I have a lot more time to read. So I'm hoping I can knock out my numbers for each month will go a little bit up, but we'll see. Because summer also means like fun times in the sun and like going to the beach where I do read. But like, you know, busy times that are outside. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully I get some more reading done this summer. And if you have read any of these, let me know what you thought about them. And that is it for me today. I will see you next time.